Hello, and welcome to Buy Wacky Weekly.
Yeah.
Starring Faith. All right. So today.
Wait. No one else. Just Faith.
Yes.
Okay.
No one else.
Starring your co-host Liam Florence.
And our special guest,
Clifford.
Robinson.
Okay.
Are you just
I'm a special
the lore
guest.
of the short?
I just called you Clifford Robinson. Clifford Robbins Sonnewald.
The lore of the
There you
show
go.
is that you are the permanent special guest because you were so funny the first time.
Okay.
We
That's good. So anyway, go on.
Okay. So today is a follow-up episode from the last one, which was episode 3. That's
Yeah.
why this one's episode 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how that one works.
Yeah?
If you didn't know.
It's a 2-parter.
Whoa. So today we will be discussing your hot takes on the Highway 35 cinematic classic World Race. Okay. First question. Why is this the greatest movie of all time? Answer in 5 words or less.
Vert's character arc is obviously the best out of any character I've ever watched.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name of the Kurt Vert. I'm just kidding. So who do you think? First question, obvious, right?
Yeah.
Who was the main character?
Vert.
I think it was
Bert?
Banji actually.
I thought Banji's my favorite. He's so fun. He's actually like the entire movie's hella goofy, but he is the goofiest, and I love him so much. The fact that he just waves to people, and he passes.
Oh
I
my
love
god.
it. I am in love with Banji. Did I show you the Banji? There's a Twitter account called Smash Editions Bot, and it said Banji for Smash.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
That,
crazy.
that was really funny. So who do you think was the main character?
like I said, Banji.
Okay, I will not agree with that. Just kidding.
I think Marky was the best
Oh my
character.
god. Or not the best character,
The
because
main-
none of them are
the
good.
main character. Okay.
The main character was probably either
It
Vert
was
or
Vert,
what
but
Yeah.
was
Kurt.
wait. Who is the
The
one?
doc?
No. Who was the one with like the really dark hair that was like
It's
always
Taro.
like Taro? I think Taro was definitely one of the main
Taro's definitely the
characters.
hottest character.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Taro is a snack.
Yeah, it's Taro, and then that robot lady.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
She'd be freaky.
Yeah. She.
Yeah.
Why was she a robot? Was that just to make
That'll
it
be explained
scary?
later.
Oh, later in the accelerators.
In the Excel, because there's so much stuff that I want to talk about, but I can't. Because those movies are so. I don't think we should watch all of them.
Oh, we have to watch all of them now.
Like all the way through.
Yeah, we invested.
We have to watch all 4 movies.
Yes.
That are they. Do you know how like some YouTube videos like hit the 10-minute and 1-second mark? Every single one of these movies is like an hour and 5 minutes. Like I'm not even joking. They're all like literally barely over an hour. I could look. That's why like if you look up the marathon of all of them on YouTube, it's like 4 hours and 5 seconds.
See,
Some crazy shit like that.
I love the Hot Wheels movie because it was like, it was so bad, but it was so bad that I had to keep watching
Oh,
it.
I
Like
know.
it was,
so funny.
it was just good enough that it was hilarious, right?
It's-
It was like, you just like it's like one of those things where like you want to look away, right? But you have
But-
to
oh, yeah.
watch, you know,
You
like
have to
like
watch.
a really bad car accident, you know, you're just like, oh, I shouldn't look at that, but like I have to.
This
few
was
of
a
those
car
in that movie.
accident. You could call this movie a car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know all the lore behind this though, because the guy who made it did an AMA on Reddit, and it was very illuminating. Some of
Wow.
it is apparently it's supposed to be a lot longer, because what it was is it was a series.
Even
Oh.
longer.
It was like episodes. So it was like 30 minutes episodes that they released on Cartoon Network, and that's why
Oh.
they like re-explain this plot every 30 minutes.
Oh.
Which makes sense. And why before the beginning of every race, he's like, this could be the last one. And then it is.
Oh my God.
So apparently This was created based on a D&D campaign that the main
No
What?
way.
No,
Oh,
you're kidding.
no
Like, all the
way.
No.
Yeah, you could look it up
Oh
Dude,
my
that makes so
God.
much sense.
because they
I've
are
done it
kind of D&D characters. Like
Oh,
Taro's
yeah,
like the
absolutely.
fucking edgy guy.
What would
Kadeem is
you-
like a white guy's understanding of black people.
What would you do with $2 million?
Or if you
Or
had
$5
$2 million, I do it. I've done it.
Done
I
it.
do.
My
and I've
favorite.
done it.
All the line. Okay, hot take. Every single line in that movie is so bad that it's the best thing I've ever
It's
heard.
so funny.
Every single line is the worst and the best. Like you cannot make any of that
Yeah.
up.
Literally.
Like everything Taro says is just like he says like 8 words the entire movie, and they're all iconic.
gold. Comedy
And
gold.
half of them are just "I'm gonna pass you," which is the best catchphrase ever.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry, like,
It's so good.
mm.
What was the one that he was like, I don't know. It was just one of the first times he said, "I'm gonna pass you." Like
Oh no,
Vert-
because Vert was like, "Hey, I heard you skied down Mount Everest once," and he's
Yeah.
like, "Twice. I'm gonna pass you."
It's so good. Oh my god.
If someone said that to me in real life, I'd probably shit my pants.
Oh my god, it was
pro-
so good.
One of my favorite lines was probably at like the very beginning of the movie, like when it's after the kid's dad leaves him, right after the dad says there's like more important things to life than like driving cars or whatever he said, right?
Yeah.
Then he leaves him for the military on his on his fucking birthday.
Happy birthday.
I think one of my other favorite moments is like it was so small. It was when the scientist dude was waiting for them and the robot just comes up to them and be like, "They're coming." It's so, it's so
His
bad.
name is Tesla.
Tesla. Oh my god.
Dr.
Yeah,
Tesla.
Dr. Peter Tesla.
yeah.
Get it right.
Yeah.
The robot sounded so like
Oh my god, the robot
in
gets. I
pain.
love the robot in the later movies because he's just such a fucking bitch, and it's so good. He's so sarcastic. I love it deeply.
Mhm.
So there's actually like when people say the main character, because like once you watch all the movies, you're kind of understand, but it's like. There's like a contention because like the doctor guy has the most probably impact on the plot, even in this movie. Like if Vert wasn't there, no, I like honestly probably nothing would have changed. He literally just did stuff in the beginning. He just got over that loop, and then technically
Yeah.
he wasn't even necessary
He wasn't even
until the very
yeah,
end.
he literally wasn't even present for some of the races.
Yeah, he
Like,
wasn't.
He wasn't
He
there.
literally won only the last one. Like he Taro
And then they're
deadass won every single
Yeah,
other one except for
Exactly.
that.
And then the doctor's like, "You're the best driver."
Like no, he just got lucky.
Yeah.
Someone said that, and then they were just right.
Oh my god.
Okay, but then like Kurt Wilde also has like a pretty big impact on the plot. He has a lot of screen time. He has like both of them have like actual character arcs, and then I could see someone making an argument for him being the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
I, I,
considering-
Honestly, I kind of got that vibe.
I can
Like the
see Kurt
story is
being
so
the main
much
character.
focused on Kurt rather than Bert, right?
Oh my
Why are
god.
they-
Like,
They have the exact
That's
same
pretty wild,
name.
Yeah,
even
but-
for Kurt.
yeah, but anyway, I'm not wrong. Like
That's
literally,
the best line in the
Oh my
goddamn
God.
movie,
but it was
That's pretty wild.
even
Even
for
for
Kurt.
but
Wait. Disclaimer for our listeners. One of the characters' names is Kurt Wilde. Or yeah.
Here are all the characters' names. You have Vert Wheeler, Taro Catano, Banji Castile, Brian Kadeem, and Kurt Wilde. If all of those sound like generic, like ethnic names, you're right.
Yep.
Oh, also the Hawaiian girl was named Lonnie Tom.
Lonnie.
Oh, and then Vert's friend. I'm sorry, I love the names, but Vert's friend, who's like the most boring hoe in the entire movie. Like I also just love the fact that like he's like, "Hey, how about you let me like have a chance at winning?" And then Taro and Kadeem are just like, "No," and they put aside their differences just to fuck up his day because he's such a little bitch. And his name is Alec Wood, which is the most boring name I've ever heard, and that just suits his character perfectly, and I love it. That's probably my favorite name in the entire series. Actually, all the names from the next one are so good.
Can you name a few? Or would
There's
that be
Diesel
spoiler?
Riggs.
Diesel Riggs.
Mitchell McClure. I'm not gonna tell you his nickname because it's too good. The next movies are honestly awful to sit through. The graphics are so terrible.
Dude, the first one's graphics are horrible.
The first
I
one,
get that.
you will actually like the first one's graphics. I will compare, like after you watch the next movies, you will like want it to go back to this. I will promise you that.
All right.
They're so bad. So that's really bad. It just gets so much slower because it's like, honestly, that's another thing I wanted to say. This movie goes at like lightning pace.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, actually, there's certain, like the beginning, the first 30 minutes is like, what the fuck? It goes through like 50 different things, and then the next 30 minutes is super slow.
Yeah, it was really weird because like you said, the first part of the movie, it like changed so fast, right? Like Bert was literally at his house, right?
Yeah.
And then saw the car and was like, oh, okay.
Whoa.
And then he was like at this random place, right? And then they just start racing, like no context. They're just racing, right? And then, oh my God. And then like they have this one race that lasts like what, half an hour?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It makes no sense. The pacing is honestly like, I never noticed it as a kid. But it's like after the 30-minute mark, it slows down so much because it's like, well, all the exposition's out of the way, and now we just have like an hour left. So it's directly these two races.
Oh my God. I think one of my other favorite parts was when Vert's team wanted to take the shortcut that what's his face's Banji's team. Yeah. And then the girl was Ilani, I think.
Yeah.
Ilani was like, what do we have to lose? And I was thinking, the
race.
Like,
That's like the only thing that mattered. Yeah. And then Bert got out of his car to be like, oh, I survived this bridge collapse.
I know.
Like, bitch, it's an actual race. Like, you took the
God.
shortcut to beat people, and then you're just stopping.
Get out of your car.
Shortcut. Cut short. You literally could not make that up. That is, this movie is worth watching, honestly, just for every single line being so cheesy.
It's so good.
It's
like,
so cheesy.
Every
this
single
shit,
time
provolone.
every single time someone opened their mouth in the movie, I laughed. It was so funny.
This girl, Lonnie, I know she's from Hawaii or whatever, but she's like standing on like a rock,
God.
like getting melted by lava. She's going to die, and she's like, "Well, this is an interesting situation."
Oh my goodness, so good. If he could do it, I
can. Just dies. Like, you have jets.
She could have just jumped over the lava.
Also, I love how Bert felt the need to surf over the lava. Like, bitch, are you kidding me?
Okay, for context for our listeners, we have to remember that they haven't seen it probably.
Hopefully.
Okay, Vert, his character, well, his team is like, they're all surfers, right?
Wave rippers.
The
Wave rippers. And they all know how to surf, right? So their cars have jets in them, and that allows them to basically fly, right?
Yes.
But for some odd reason, every single time they fly, they have the urge to surf whatever the hell they're trying to avoid, right?
Even the sand. He was like, surf this. That's not what surfing
the
is. He just like looks over. He's like, oh yeah, you know the gimmick of our car that I should always have in mind? I guess I'll use that. What? Why didn't you think of that like first?
Yeah.
And then, so all can we agree that the Wave Rippers cars are like fucking so
They're
overpowered?
So,
So they have the ability to like jump and get like over anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, what do the street breed people literally have like a fucking GPS? Are you kidding me? That was useful maybe once.
Yeah, and then the desert, they just have spikes in
like
their
those were
tires.
probably the second.
Yeah.
Actually, the spikes on the tires are the same exact fucking thing as just the cars. The cover, it covers the tires.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And then like
actually, you'll see in the next movie maybe. It actually just Taro in the next movie tries to drive with the covers on, and like, don't do that. He tries to take like a turn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just kidding.
I feel like some people are gonna die in the next few movies.
I'm not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie.
So yeah, and Banji's team just had fucking saws.
Yeah.
That was useful literally once. I think you saw that on screen twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I loved it when Vert fucking pushed the clutch and the
And all the brake, the clutch,
he hit
the gas.
every pedal with his feet, and then his car did this magical trick for no reason at all. It was so good. Didn't make any sense whatsoever.
No,
And
literally none.
and then he ended up winning the
worked.
race.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't. No, he didn't win that one.
I thought it was the.
That was the first one that he was in.
Yeah.
I thought that was the.
He
loop.
didn't win that one.
Oh, he
No.
didn't?
He deadass lost.
Oh,
Kurt won that race.
why? He was literally
He
ahead.
blew
Oh
it
my
up.
God.
No, so he went back to see his friend.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
right,
that's
right.
And then
Right.
Kurt literally blew up the track.
No, literally. Okay, all of the races are just kind of blended into one for me.
I agree.
Because like
Yeah.
the whole movie is just one race. It's yeah.
And
Like there were maybe like 3 segments in between a race, right? And then the rest was just racing.
all of them
Yeah.
were just Kadeem like looking over the lake and
Yeah.
then innuendos with Taro and Lonnie. That was really good too.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my everything about that.
Fucking Benji speaks Spanish. Easy for you to say.
That is so funny. I'm sorry. I cannot not. I don't know if it's definitely not like genuine, but every line just makes me laugh. It's just
It's
so
so
good.
good.
And the voice acting was not that bad also. I want to say.
Uh,
Especially with Banshee. He made everything so good.
I would say the voice acting was
Perfect for the movie.
perfect for
Yeah,
the movie.
for the
yeah.
movie.
It was amazingly cheesy and that's why it was so good.
I loved Vert's voice because it just fit
Oh
like
my
the
God.
the stereotypical early 2000s surfer dude. It's like, whoa, awesome.
Shoot the girl. It's so good.
Like it was.
Super sick.
Whoa, check it out.
I'm gonna surf this wave.
What did we say like 15 times in the first like 30 minutes?
Oh, what was it?
Oh shit.
I don't remember. It was so funny though. Oh wait. It was a
He
whole
said,
last
"Shoot
sentence.
he says shoot the pipeline later in the, in the next movies.
Wait.
Okay, the beginning of the next movie is the worst, is like the most unintentionally. I have a theory, which is all these movies were purposefully made to be this bad. Cause like all the cheesy lines are so perfect.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the next movie is so funny that I just can't. It's so stupid. Like it's the stupidest line ever, but I feel like they know it. The people who made it definitely are like, yeah. So
There were definitely a few points watching the movie where like I almost pissed myself from laughing so
Oh,
hard
yeah.
because it was so cheesy, but it was so bad that it was so good.
it was
you
so
know?
cheesy that it was like, I don't know.
It was
For
hilarious.
Me, it's like cheesy because it's so committed to being cheesy.
Yeah.
Like it takes itself so seriously that it's so hilarious because it's not good at all.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember what question we were on. I think we were still on the main character
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You could make
just ask another
yeah.
question.
So soundtrack banger.
Oh, the soundtrack actually
was actually low key sick. Like
yeah, a little bit. A low key.
It
Okay,
slaps.
so there's a really cool song in the later movies. The soundtrack, it's kind of because the later movies gets more intense, and so the soundtrack gets equally as intense. I do have the Road Beast theme on my phone though, because it's fucking a banger.
you should play it,
Yeah,
and
you
then
should
we'll
play
play it in the
Okay.
we'll play it in the podcast.
It's the music. So like in the next movies, the background music is really good, but the fucking like the second party songs that like require that like hire people to make are so bad, and that makes it so much better. Every single song. So like the actual music is honestly pretty fire.
Mm-hmm. I agree
I'm gonna
with
be
that
honest.
statement.
This is like in the next movies, but like they have like songs with lyrics,
Oh no.
Oh.
and the lyrics are more cheesy. Not even like
Oh,
just as
no.
cheesy. They're too cheesy. I don't even want to listen to them. But like you have to. They require you to listen to it.
That's really unfortunate because like
Yeah.
the soundtrack was actually really good.
The background music gets interesting and better though.
Oh.
In my opinion, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's cool. In
Alright.
the later movies. I don't know what I saved it as. Probably bad. There's just one cool guitar. Just play the cool guitar part. Oh yeah, at the end. Play this
Hold up
part.
to the microphone.
It's so early 2000s, but like
This is very early 2000s.
it's all just sound effects too.
Yeah.
It's the part after this. I genuinely like this part. I don't know why. Not that. This.
It like low key sounds like bad EDM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early 2000s. Oh wait, no, it was the part after this.
Ah!
What the fuck is even
Dude,
happening?
they're going so hard.
This is a very cool song, Liam.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
It's
good.
so cheesy, and I love it. It's everything in this movie because it takes itself so seriously, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
I will never. Just so you guys know, I know it's really bad, obviously, but I will never not love these movies.
No, I absolutely like see where you're coming from
I
because
definitely
they're
It's also
really
like-
yeah.
entertaining.
So I also like grew up with them, and so I have so much like headcanon about, especially because it gets intense. So I just want to preface this again by saying the first movie is way more fun to watch because
Yeah.
the next ones are just kind of like depressing at times.
Aw.
Depressing in what way? Like story wise, or just like
Not
fun to watch?
not fun to watch. Like there's certain points where it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna skip this.
Oh no.
But there, I would say the good moments are kind of better than. So it's like the first movie is kind of just like this, and then the next movie has like genuine moments that make me feel like, whoa, this is good, and then like, oh my god, this is so fucking stupid and it's amazing, and then, oh my gosh, they have the best. I'm not gonna spoil it, but they have the best comedic timing in the third movie. Like the first every part of the third movie, it's like. It goes from being like so cheesy it's funny to like actually funny to like so cheesy it's funny again within like 30 seconds. Oh, and the beginning of the first movie is so good too. The beginning of the
Yeah.
second movie is really funny. Or no, I was talking about the Accelerator because it's
Oh,
like two
okay.
different things. Whatever, because they
Sorry.
label it like World Race 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, the names. It's World Race, Ignition, Sound of Silence. Or Speed of Silence. Speed of
Speed of
Silence.
silence. That's
Breaking
cool.
Point, because like breaks.
Oh.
And then the Ultimate Race is the last one.
Wow.
And there
Oh.
needs to be a fifth one. You'll see why. It ends on a Clifford hanger.
Oh no.
Like
no.
the biggest Clifford hanger you'll ever see.
When was the last movie made?
Like 2004.
Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
I don't think.
So the next 4 movies were all made in the span of 1 year.
Oh my god.
So that should tell
really?
you how
Wow.
bad the graphics are.
Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
be pretty bad. Yeah.
I think the movie we just saw was made in like whatever. Anyway,
All right. Next question.
so soundtrack banger, yes.
Yeah.
I'll show you the cool sound from the later movies later if I find it on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, what do you think of the designs of the cars / environments?
Oh my
Environments.
God.
Okay, actually, wait. I have something. This is like the first observation that I made in the movie, right? So the movie starts off in is it San Francisco?
Yeah,
Yes.
or LA, I
Or
don't know.
LA,
Some fucking
someplace
California,
on-
rich.
yeah.
It has to establish that Revert is a privileged white kid.
Yeah, a privileged white surfer boy.
Yes.
But anyway, so like the first thing I noticed when watching a Hollywood movie is that that environment was so fucking ugly. I wanted to die.
Yeah.
See,
It was
that's what I
pretty
hate.
gross.
I literally just skip the first half because it literally looks so bad. But once they get to like the cool places,
Yeah.
especially the one where they start out like on the cliff,
Yeah.
they go back to that kind of same idea in the later movies, and it looks fucking cool. And this one looked cool too. I'm gonna say the track design is interesting and
Yeah.
neat. They have a lot of cool set pieces,
They do.
and they do a lot of cool like. They have like obviously it's super cheesy editing, but they have like both their faces in the cars. That's so dumb. But it works because it's so dumb. Oh my god, I'm just thinking of all the stupid lines because everything that they say is so funny.
I thought the idea of the tracks, like the different dimensions, was pretty cool. Like I thought that was a really interesting concept.
They go
but
all out in the next movies with those.
Really?
oh, that's cool.
They have like they're themed, and then you get certain things for winning. So if you win the race, then you get like a power up that you can use later.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
So it's like an
So it's
upgrade
like-
system. That's cool.
So it's like that's exactly the reaction where it's like, okay, it's not really a fun change because the only reason that you would watch these movies is because it's bad, but then the sequels are like, no, it's good, I promise. That's why they're so depressing because it's like, just be goofy. No serious.
Yeah.
No,
These
seriously.
movies are going to be hard to get through.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Okay.
fun.
Another environment. This was easily my favorite environment in the movie was like the city. That was like
Yeah.
the what's
The
their name for
Accelerator.
Hot
it?
Wheels.
Hot
Oh,
Wheels
yeah,
City.
Hot Wheels City.
Yeah.
Alec Wood looking ass.
But anyway, like that city was actually really cool, especially spoilers like when it lights up at the end of the movie when they
Yeah.
return the wheel of
The
power.
Wheel of Power.
The wheel of
3
power.
rings.
3 rings is not a wheel.
I'm not the doctor here, though.
Oh,
You're going to have
that's
to take that up with Tesla.
All right. I'll
Okay.
make sure to email him after we're
Okay.
done recording.
P Tesla at hartford.edu. I think I just knocked out every fuse in North America.
Oh my god.
That line was so good.
And then even when it was trying to be like dark and emotional, it's like even your hands. I like in any other movie, I think that actually would have been effective because he like zooms in on his sins and then the lifeless body of his best friend, and it's like you killed him with your bare hands, and then
Wait.
it's like, but then it's just like
Are you talking
5
about the
seconds later,
robot?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Spoilers: Gig dies, but then comes back to life.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think about the representation in this film?
What do
Like,
you mean?
Oh wait, no, wait, go
representation-
back in time. I'm just gonna say I like some of the environments. After it got out of his stupid fucking town, it looked so
Oh
bad.
wait, what was?
I would
the
say the-
cars. The
Oh,
cars
yeah.
were really. I don't know. I thought some of the designs for the cars were actually pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, Vert's car is literally.
I
stupid.
hate
Bubble
Vert's
truck.
Vert's car.
Vert-
No. It's not
Bubble
a truck.
truck.
It's a fucking
It
bus.
is a bus.
It
It's
is
a-
literally a
yeah,
bubble
bubble
bus.
bus. Bubble bus.
Bubble bus. Bubble
Bubble
bus. Bubble bus. Bubble.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'd honestly say all the cars except for Vert's, I actually kind of liked. Like they were cool.
Dude, Kurt's car was pretty cool.
It's called Slingshot, and so when he crashes, Bert is like, "Nice shot, Slingshot." There's two car. There's a car named Backdraft and a car named Sidedraft, and the guy in Sidedraft is the guy who kept getting flipped over, which is just really funny. That guy just got flipped over twice, and that's all he
Okay.
did in the movie.
I think some of the wave
Wave Rippers.
Wave
Wave
Rippers.
Rippers.
I think all of the Wave Ripper cars low key sucked ass. Like
Well,
they-
yeah, because they had to have the stupid surfer.
yeah,
Like
they had
all
to
of
have
them,
like
I
the
would say
surfer
Marky's
vibe.
car was kind of cool though, because it
Marky's
was a
car
Corvette
was cool.
Stingray.
Yeah, Marky's car was cool, but like all of the other ones were really trash.
Taro's
Yeah.
car was cool because it was just a normal car and
Yeah.
there wasn't any goofy stuff. Banshees was probably my favorite though.
I forget what Banshees looks like.
It looks like this. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
That
was
is
pretty
very
cool.
cool, Leah.
Wait, let me actually show.
I should just look up ballistic.
Well, oh, that one.
Wait, I'm gonna pull a picture. Wait.
Some of the cars are terrible. There's a car named Motocrossed, which is just an ATV. There's a car named Red Baron, which is just a car with a Nazi helmet on it.
What?
You
This
didn't?
is, what?
That's actually
Yeah,
Kind of crazy.
This
that
is-
is
this-
kind of crazy.
this is Banshee's car. This is like an actual model of it.
I
Ooh.
own that one actually.
Oh, okay, but yeah, that car actually is pretty sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
So I think the car designs were really cool, and I think the track designs were cool, and I think like the Tyrannosaurus set piece where they have to dodge the rocks and then go
that
up.
was
Oh,
really
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
cool.
that.
That was pretty cool.
personally.
I also liked the scene where they were weaving through the ice column things.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That was low key pretty cool. That was a cool concept.
yeah.
Oh, those robot things,
We're
nightmare fuel.
They were scary.
Nightmare
They get.
fuel.
You should see the beginning of the next movie. Like the beginning of all the movies are except for this one actually. Actually no, the beginning of all the movies are so good because this one starts with like someone fucking dying,
Oh my god.
right? But it was just a simulation, right?
Oh, okay.
Wait.
But the next movie,
wait.
scratch that last part.
I'm just gonna try to.
Not even joking.
Oh my god. I'm just gonna try to describe what they looked like to the
Yeah.
listeners. They literally they looked like wait. They
Bruh.
looked like machine. Like, Oh my god! Wow,
Spiders.
I literally no, not spider, like Slenderman, but if he was a robot
Yeah, and he had.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree
They
with
were
that.
like-
That's
Yeah.
true.
and black.
They had really
Yeah,
wide
they kind of had.
hips.
They did. Yeah, they had wide hips and like spider legs, but there's
Yeah.
only 2 legs.
Wheel
was
of
terrifying.
power.
It was terrifying. They
That's-
had like this
Yeah.
orange visor thing, and sometimes their eyes would light
yeah,
up.
and then
It was so
Glorum had
scary.
blue eyes.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, was
creepy
she?
as
She's
hell.
the.
She's the bad one.
Oh,
Her name is
she
Glorum.
She was really
terrifying.
She's
creepy.
cool. I'm sorry. Like her stupid helicopter that could just pick cars up is such a stupid idea, and I love it so much. I love how they attack. Like they
It's
have
such an
mines and
oddly
shit,
specific
but
design.
they try to kill people by just flipping them over. Like, bruh, that's so funny. Yeah, I would say the drones probably go through the redesigns. Okay, so the next movie has redesigns, and they all look terrible. Like every single character looks terrible, especially Taro, because they tried to make him look more like Asian, and he just looks worse in every way. And then Galorum looks really terrible, and all the drones look terrible. End
That's
of
unfortunate.
statement. They all just
That's-
look bad.
That's
So just
unfortunate.
the accelerators are just not good looking movies.
No, they're just really bad. That's just a fact.
All right.
So, what do you want to talk about for like 2 seconds?
For 2 seconds.
Oh wait, can we talk about how Marky like fucking got a concussion?
Bruh,
Yeah, I was just- that's what
Marky
we talked
should have died. Like,
Yeah.
his life should have ended when he slammed his head off of
That's
his
so-
steering wheel.
They literally copy that scene like shot for shot at the beginning of the next movie,
Really?
just in a different like literally, Marky does like 2 of the same things he's already done, just in the beginning. It's so funny.
Wait, for context, Marky,
Got
Kurt's little brother.
Yeah.
blown up by mines, and his car flew up, and then he like pressed a grappling hook button, and then he grabbed onto the ice, and then the ice, like the momentum
like
of
He
the car,
slammed into the
he
wall.
slammed
Yeah.
into the ice wall, and then his head, you literally see it go straight into the steering wheel, and then he just
From the perspective of the dashboard,
Yeah,
you
like-
see Marky's head slam into the steering wheel in front of him,
But, like,
and
good-
he passes out.
but
like,
he should die.
Yeah,
it
he
looks
should have
like-
died.
It looks like he dies
Like,
because
it was
looks like his
surprisingly
neck
violent.
snaps in half.
Actually, yeah, I agree. Yeah, he should have just died.
and then he just wakes up.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's-
and he's fine. And then he goes to help his brother.
Yeah.
I like their brother dynamic because they still help each other, but then his older brother just shits on him in racing. He's like, haha, you're bad. Like, bro, check his vitals. He got like 2 concussions in that movie because he hit the wheel, the wheel that was just floating.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
the magical green glowing fucking wheel that he had to jump through.
Yeah, he just didn't do it right, and he was the only one because he's bad. Marky sucks.
I love how
hot
they.
take.
I love how they went through all that trouble to like calculate when to jump through the floating wheel, right? But then like
He just,
it just blows up
Yeah.
anyway at the end.
I don't even know how that happened. I watched that movie a million times, and they just don't explain it.
Well, it's because Marky slams into
Well,
it.
no,
right?
does it blow up? But it only blows up after Vert and Banji pass through it.
Yeah, because
like,
because Marky messes it up, right? And then it like starts going
Totally.
really, really, really fast. And then Kurt,
I'd like to think that
And-
if Kurt actually blew up the steering or the wheel,
maybe
then it just would have made the path easier to go on. And that's what he was thinking. So he was just like, I'm going to kill my brother by having him go through that. I don't think that cut short.
shortcut.
Shortcut,
Cut short.
That was pretty wild, even for Kurt.
Oh my god. So bad.
That movie got like, I don't know. I think it's interesting that even in like the really super lighthearted one of all 4, you still had like Kadeem, the whole thing with Kadeem, which was like not handled properly, but still like an interesting concept to think about. And then you also had Marky and his brother, or Kurt and his brother, who are kind of like the main, or a main dynamic. I find it like all the interrelationships interesting, because like you got Marky and Kurt, who are just like there, like no one really, like Vert's kind of the main, like you kind of focus on Vert, but they're like in the background. And then you have Taro and Lonnie, which is like gets like 5 seconds of screen time,
Yeah.
but like it's technically
There
there.
was definitely something going on
Yeah.
And then they really
Dude,
did my boy
when-
Banji though.
there. Dude, when Lonnie was in her car and Vert went up to her, and then like there was this awkward silence, and then fucking Toro comes out at the bottom of her car. I was like, oh, she is getting some dick.
I forgot where I was going with that point, but I was gonna say, no, I just wasn't going anywhere. Last question, best part in your opinion
Let's see. I guess
Wait, we have to list top 5? So top
Top
5 favorite
five?
characters.
top 5. Oh, geez. I'll go with Banji. Banji's my favorite.
Yeah,
gets a
I
soft
agree,
spot
I
for me.
agree.
Then it would probably be Kurt, right?
Yeah,
And then what was the brother's name?
Marky,
Marky.
Salamone.
Marky, Dr. Tesla, and then Vert.
A new type of driver.
All right. For me, I agree. I think Banji was probably my favorite character. I love Banji. Then Toro.
Yeah.
Toro was just like he was just so
He's so
sassy and
funny.
annoying. He was so good.
He's so good.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I think Lonnie, just because she was so fucking stupid the entire time.
You can say that about literally every character.
Yeah.
No, but like she
Every
was
single character
especially
was dumb.
stupid. Like every decision she made was literally the worst decision she
If
could
he
have
can
made.
do it, I can.
Yeah, like
can.
she literally did not. She had like 2 working brain cells, and all they were
Were
to like
computer.
were brake and gas. That's it. Those are the only 2 working brain cells.
I would say that she wasn't even good at driving.
Yeah,
She was
pretty
good
much.
at
She was just there
computer.
for
She was just there for female representation and
Toro
Tara and computer.
computer.
She was the only one who knew how to do computer.
Fair. Okay, so then that's 3. So, Marky definitely, and also definitely just Vert because Vert was so awkward
He's such
and
a
annoying.
meme. No, you guys don't like Kadeem?
I don't really remember Kadeem that much. He was the
That's a line later in the movies.
Oh,
They're
no.
so good. Tara, oh my god. That line's like the best thing. It's so good.
Oh no. Okay.
So
Are we gonna go over favorite parts of the movie?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, I would say my favorite characters.
Oh
Alright.
yes. So yes.
I love fucking Banji and Taro. They're the best. They're so good. And no other characters matter. Like, if there was tier, they'd be S tier. The next people are like C tier. Bert and Kurt, because in the later movies, they're cool. And then none of the other ones really. I love the concept of Alec Wood and Dan Dresden because they're so funny. Because Dan Dresden just gets shits on in both of his races. He just gets immediately toppled over, and he had a whole monologue that they just cut out of the movie.
Oh no.
And then Alec Wood has the worst name I've ever heard and just gets bullied by everyone else for the entire runtime. And that's his entire part. So I love the concept of both of them just getting shit.
Got you.
Okay, so that's my hot take.
All right. So then our favorite part.
Okay. So
Or favorite line.
favorite line. Oh.
That's a hard one.
I like the one that Dr. Tesla says, I think I just blew every fuse
in North America.
What was so good about it is that it was just like, I don't know, it was just like a bad thing happened, right? And then he just says that like bland statement out of nowhere.
Looks like Tesla forgot to pay the light bill.
Yeah.
Banji. Every single line though. And then
Yeah.
like 5 seconds later it's like, I will not be going home today. Like, okay, obviously there's an army of robots.
All right, what's your favorite line, Faith?
I don't know. There are so many good awkward ones. It has to be a Toro line because like his are just so perfect.
I'm gonna pass you.
I don't know.
There's 2 of us, one too many.
I think one of my favorite lines is when Vert goes like, "I've heard you skied down Mount Everest twice. Oh no, once." And then he goes twice.
Twice.
I'm gonna pass you.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
Your favorite line?
All of them. They're all so good. I could recite like half of them.
Yeah,
from
they're all so
memory.
good. It's so hard to pick one.
Smooth moo. Oh, that was perfect.
I also really liked the one where like Kurt goes, "That's wild."
And then Bert is like, that's pretty wild, even for Kurt.
So good.
What was I just had a good thing to say and now I forgot it. Oh, I was going to talk about the devotion they had to plot holes really quickly. Because the movie was not devoted to being a good movie, but it was devoted to like covering up stupid stuff that no one cared about. First thing, And I know most of these are just to like pad out screen time so they get to like sell more toys, right? So you got like at the end of the movie when Kurt's friends have the nitrox.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, where did they get the nitrox? No one's gonna ask that question. That's a stupid question. But they answer it by showing the other guy just not making it because they stole it. And they don't even explicitly state that. They just are like, oh, this guy's just stupid, I guess. Like, why did they go, first of all, through the, they didn't even have to animate. That could have just been like, it could have been an hour and like 45 minutes instead. There's just like, I thought of a lot of them. A lot of them get explained later on too. Also, apparently Marky got there by stowing away in Kurt's trunk. But Kurt didn't have a trunk.
Yeah.
His car was just like...
And weren't they there for like at least a week or so? Like...
Yeah.
Marky would have
like, you're not going to
away.
cut... Like, I love how they just were like, oh, it's not important. Like, if you're going to explain the most ridiculously not important thing, and then you're just going to come around and be like, how did this human being get to this remote location? He's like, not important. Anyway, that man, oh my god. And also the setting for the cube, Tesla's cube.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So it goes from middle of the desert, nowhere, like you can't see anything, and it stays that way for a while. And then the next time it's like a little like brushy. Now there's an ocean. And then the next time it's just all green with a bunch of trees and there's a huge ocean. And then the last time or later in the next movies, it's just like all desert, but now there's a road going next to it. Where was the road the first time? What the? I don't understand. They literally just teleport. Like
So
they're
good.
so devoted to continuity sometimes.
Maybe he just has a ton of them.
That's true too. Actually, that would kind of make sense.
Because isn't he like wicked rich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also last thing, the car continuity, like shot to next shot, is atrocious. Every single time they change camera angles, at least one of the cars moves. Like either like in front of another one that it was behind before, or just it's just not there, or it's just another location. That is so funny to pick out. Like I remember we actually just I like showed you a few. Like I was like, stop, because I like you just have to watch it and like look at the cars in the background. And you're like, none of these were there before. It's very funny because why? Just like put them in the same place. They're all 3D models. It's not like you have to like hand animate them. Like just put them in the right place for more than 1 minute. Anyway.
Okay, wait. One thing that I don't know. I found just really just like interesting. I pointed this out when we were watching the movie. So on Tesla's cube, right? Just like the random red marks that were just on the side that were just like there. They weren't in any particular pattern or everything. They were just there.
They're just there.
Well, do
for
you know,
no reason.
Faith's theory about there being multiple cubes would make sense for that because the red markers are the different ones. That's it. That's all I was going to say.
Okay.
I really liked how they had Vert's car. It was only Vert's and Taro's car that were spinning in the background. And they were just spinning over and over. What is that even doing? That's just using up like the power. Like you're gonna blow every fuse in North America by rendering fucking the bubble bus at 120p.
Oh my god, so good.
Okay, bubble bus.
One of my last favorite things about the movie was like the very end when Vert's fucking dad just like walks up in like Tesla's like weird like hideout thing, and he's like what are you doing? And Vert's like I just won like a huge race, like I'm the best driver in the fucking world, like I literally went to a different dimension and like restored this like all powerful like three
rings.
And like then his dad's like, oh well, you're still grounded. Like, what?
Bruh, worst dad ever.
Literally worst dad. He leaves on Vert's birthday and comes back to fucking ground him after his son achieves like this huge title of being the best driver in the world. Like,
he also just gets in like the mysterious
how does he
car.
get there?
Yeah.
How does he
get there? And then also when he gets there, he's like, oh hey, well, Bert, like, what's this new ride you got, right? Like, where do you
And then he
think
hits the
Bert got this
nitrox. Like, it
car?
could have been
Yeah.
any other button, but he hits the nitrox.
I have a
Yeah.
theory that his dad was actually in on it.
Yo.
No.
Because his dad is in the military. Think about it. Think about it.
No.
His dad is in the military.
I've seen the rest of the movies, so I'm just going to shut
Aw.
that down.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I
Darn.
tried.
That would have been cool, though.
Oh.
I was joking. Mood.
Okay, can we discuss overall favorite parts of the movie?
Okay.
So
Really
okay,
quickly,
really
speed
quickly.
run.
All right. So I guess for me, my overall favorite part would be like that, like sudden, or I guess I have two favorite parts that are tied. So my first one is the when Bert's dad leaves him on his birthday.
Yeah.
After he's explaining, like, there's more important things than life to just this, and he just leaves. Literally on his 16th birthday. That's like one of the important birthdays,
Yeah.
right, growing
Yeah.
up, right? So there was that. And then there's just like the really out of place, violent jerk of
Yeah.
Marky just hitting his head on the fucking steering wheel. Like, that was so violent.
Two best parts, easily.
All right. For me, I'd say one of my favorite parts is just the fucking loop when Vert presses all of the
No,
pedals
this
in
is
the
what
car.
I call a loop.
And like when they go to like the first dimension, right? And Banji's like, "Whoa, look at these rocks!" And Vert's like, "Well, look at the sky. 'Cause there's a planet in the fucking sky."
Imagine like, yo, look at those brown rocks. That's crazy. I've never seen any
Whoa.
rocks that are brown before.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
Bert's like, bro, Jupiter's like fucking crashing
In the
into this
sky.
planet. We're all gonna die. It's the end of Majora's Mask. And Jupiter's just fucking gonna end everything.
Yeah.
But then Ben's like, but rocks though. And he's like, this is what I call a loop. Or this is what I call a loop.
That's what I call a loop.
Yeah, that's what I call a loop.
Like, yeah.
Alright.
that-
Okay, my
Liam.
favorite parts. So, my favorite, I really do like I like the idea of a lot of things. And I like a lot of the shots. Like a lot of the shots where they like go like that,
Mhm.
and then like the thing comes into view, especially in the T-Rex stuff. Like the entire desert place honestly has a lot of cool ideas that were obviously kind of executed really badly.
Yeah, butchered.
That's like-
just butchered.
That's so the entire series is kind of more interesting to like redo in your head and be like, if they actually cared about integrity and stuff, this would be so cool. Like they have a lot of cool ideas. I also like the cliff place where they all could have just died immediately and they didn't. They didn't even like notice. They're just doing all this shit and they're like, "Oh no, almost fell off the edge." Like Banji gets in, he's like, "Whoa, watch the first turn, guys." And then it's like you could be a little bit more serious, man. Okay, and then I also love every single line.
yeah.
It's
All the
Yeah.
lines
every-
are
like,
literally comedy.
Literally
gold. They're
every
perfect.
line. I don't even know how they did it.
They're perfect.
They are.
That's pretty wild, even for Kurt. Shortcut.
Cut, short.
Nice shot. I love the one where it's like you could have stayed with Street Breed, Kurt, and won $5 million. And then his response is just talk is cheap in Dresden. That doesn't address anything that he just said.
Oh, it's so
And then
good.
I love how Marky's like, I'm not like you, Kurt. I won't cheat to win. And then he just fucking, like 5 minutes earlier, he just boosts over the thing that everybody else was stuck behind. I won't cheat to win. My ass. He was lying.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to see like certain parts of the next movies,
Yeah.
but I'm
excited to
also
watch the next
very
ones.
not excited to watch certain other parts because they're bad.
It's okay. It'll be fun with us.
It will.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, I think that will conclude.
Shut up.